Good to go. Okay, balance. Okay. You can see me, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Onegaishimasu. Doki. So we're going to start a little bit from the side. Just bounce on the body and down. Just trying to feel the whole structure. And just play with the movement. You can do kind of short movements, longer movements. Also feel that you can kind of hold it, sink it down. Just really play with it. There's tons of different kind of qualities of movements. So you can really explore it. Really. And the main thing you're exploring here, really this is a vertical movement. So think about the down, but also think about the up as well. So think about both of those directions, really acting together simultaneously, working the same lengthening. And just check in with the body, the knees, the shoulders, the neck, all these areas. Just notice how they feel. So a little bit with the arms, so kind of stretching them up a little bit. Just play with the joint. So there's a sense in this one, it's like I'm holding the structure up, so with the arm, but imagine a little bit like you're holding onto a rope, or you're holding onto like a bar, and you're going to kind of drop through the joint. And just feel like the structure of the arm. So it can be straight up, it can be over to the side, it can be even a little bit bent. Just feel like you're just going to kind of drop through the structure. Just play with it a little bit. And the whole weight of the arm draining down. You can also do just like one side. Just drop through it. Just drop through it. So, good. Good. And then we just go front and back. Just keeping the feet as they are. Really just exploring a sense of balance in this one. So really about the front and the back. But feel that when you do this, it's not like the front is just the front direction and the back is just the back direction. Really feel that the back and the front are playing with each other. So it's like as I go forward, the direction in the back's also happening. So don't think these, you can interpret these as like front and back in terms of the body movement, but also front and back in terms of the body itself. So that you've got the front and the back surface of the body. And there's always an interplay between the two. So this is where this kind of nice, interesting work. And you can go detailed into it as well. So think about the feet. You've got the front and the back. For us, it's the toes and the heel. Almost everything in the world has a front and a back. It's kind of interesting. And then we just go side to side. A little bit with the feet, make it a bit dynamic. For me, the main thing in terms of relating to Aikido work is the compressions in the feet. So taking the weight over to one side and compressing the structure a little bit into one side. In terms of the Seitai work and in terms of mobility, this is much more about unlocking this area of the body. The whole sideline of the body. So this exercise is really for the left and the right side. And again, you can think of it in terms of moving the body to the left and the right. You can also think in terms of the body itself, the left side and the right side. So think about those sides. And ideally what I'm trying not to do is working with collapse on one side and extension through the other. Think about like an open expansion through the whole system. And that includes the legs as well. So everything's gonna kind of open and expand into it. For me, mobility is not just about flexibility, but it's about creating space in the joints. And that's a feeling of there being space in the joints, not necessarily. Mobility is a little bit different than flexibility. It's involved in it, but it's much more about a kind of a sense of freedom in the movement. To be mobile, just be able to move freely. That's it. And then just coming into the rotation. So nice and slow. Nice kind of tight angle. And in terms of Aikido movement for us, this is the most common one. This is the kind of movement we do all the time, is rotating work. And just try and feel the structure of the body start to lower. So the whole feeling starts to go now really into the center of the body, especially focusing on the hips. And in this case, really feel that the hips themselves are, you can kind of isolate the movement in each hip. So you've got the right hip, the left hip. Just really play with them. Again, there's a nice kind of interplay and exchange between the two. So they influence each other, but they're also, you can also start to work them a little bit separately as well. And that interplay is also, you'll feel it's also happening in the shoulders. So the left shoulder, the right shoulder, you can move them independently, but they really kind of influence each other as you work them. So the kind of shoulder blade area, allow that also to pass the movement through. And all the parts of the body, side to side, are going to do that. So the hands and the feet are going to do the same thing. The knees, elbows, just feel that they all start to work together. That's it. And again, just play with what we tend to do with this one is like a twisting movement. Something like that. You can really explore this movement quite a lot because there's lots of movement in the rotation itself. Just play with the hands a little bit. You can also bring them up, bring them down, and just feel like you can kind of play with that rotation a little bit. Play with one thing also, which is good for mobility work, which is taking the structure down a little bit and a little bit back. Down a little bit. And this is still all rotation work. So really feel like you're just coiling through rotation. And if you feel pretty flexible, start to really use the legs. So start to kind of go down. Keep the spine nice and flexible. Just start to feel like you're kind of passing through a spiral. So these kind of circular movements we do. Yeah. And especially in terms of Aikido work, we do these kind of movements almost exclusively. So the moves we make when we do like kokyunage work or Murodonori work, all these kind of stuff, we use these movements really in that way. And for now, just thinking about mobility. Really passing a spiral through the whole system. There we go. Nice. And just as a kind of rule for this, even though you can always play with the connection, you can play with the structure. Again, because I'm really use these for Aikido work, then what I'm really interested in is training a connection which is center-led. So really feel that the center's moving the system. So obviously you can do these by kind of moving the hands and letting the body follow that. It's just another way of connecting the body, but just in terms of Aikido work, really get this feeling like the center's going to do it. Even when you do these movements, when you're going to come into like, maybe it's more like in a kind of ukemi work, yeah, the center's leading it. So allowing the whole structure to be led and governed from the center. That's really where we work almost all the time in Aikido. When we're out of that arrangement, that's when we go to force, we go to strength. Just play with that a little bit. And if you find it quite easy, just make it more complex. Start to really explore the body. Nice. That's it. Good. Good. Very nice. Very nice. And this for me is where like waves, arcs, spirals, they all just come out, just start coming out with the movements. So. Good. And then the last one is this kind of inside-outside direction. So probably, I think one of the hardest movements to feel, because we tend to live on the outside in a way. So really think about this one again. It's like internally going right into the body and then coming out. And then really focusing now. The focus just a little bit, it's more like the pelvis, so it's more like here, this kind of movement. But it's really involving the center. So get the sense that you come into the structure and out. Into the structure and out. In and out. And again, just play with qualities of movement. Start with like a base, which is like quite vertical. Right in the middle of the feet. Hands are just following. Start to explore a bit more down. A bit more open to the back. And then once you feel you've got kind of pretty comfortable passing away through the spine, just start to pass it. Again, play with it a little bit. So big range of motion in this movement. And tons of different qualities. There's an infinite amount of qualities, as you can imagine. You can play with them. There we go. And you can think about really anything like bamboo, or you can think about like a cat, or you can think about really anything. Even just a feeling, like a feeling of draining through the system. Anything that you like. So just allow that kind of thought to influence the body. There we go. That's it, great. Very nice. Nice. Great. I'm just going to do some exercises which are kind of about the whole system and spiraling up. So the first one's like a base for it. And you know this probably, you've done them before. This is like the foundation exercise. The first one, just get used to the body. You should always feel in a way, these are best explored when you feel like I'm totally out of balance. So what I want you to do is like sink the weight down. And it's as if as I go down, the body's falling back. I want that feeling in the body. So I'm in the back of the heel. And the knee is basically lined up with the ankle. So it goes like this. And all I want you to do is drop the weight down and open the hands out to the back. And I want you to feel, in this case, like a real lengthen through the spine. So it's a bit chest up, chin back. And I want you to just open the hands out. This is a bit more structural work than the Seitai work. Just feel the structure a little bit. There. Just stretch the arms out a little bit. What I want you to do is take a really deep breath in. Really expand the lungs, and when you breathe out, try and see if you can maintain the length that you get here. So you get the length through the spine, expansion, and as you breathe out, try and breathe out in a way where you can maintain that. So it's without kind of holding tension, you're kind of pressurizing the system a little bit. Just you're going to do 3 deep breaths in each position, and just see if you can, you're basically going to create length through the breath. And then rather than do this, you're going to do, you're going to maintain the length through the system. It's about elongating the spine and placing the weight in the right place in the body. Okay. We're going to now do this. So you're in this position. What I want you to do is feel like you scoop up with the arms. Scoop up. And then what you're going to do is join the fingertips together. So you're going to go like this, as if there's a ball in the hands. You're going to squeeze them together. So you just want you to raise the arms as high as you can. Up. And again, keep this kind of position. So knees are back. Don't bend the knees over the toes. And the feeling is as if if I let the body go, if I let the tension go, it will fall backwards. So stretch. Again, nice deep breath in. Feel it open this whole area up. Open, open, open. Again, breathe out, but don't lose the extension. One nice deep breath in again. Hands as high as you can. in the structure. Big breath out. Okay, on the next deep breath down, you're going to go down to the ground. So you're going to breathe in. And then drop it down as you go out. Drop the hands to the ground. Hands come into the ground. Shuffle here. Again, the knees are back off the heels as much as possible. Don't bend the knees forward. So now it's as if the hips pull back, hands cling into the ground. And again, try and create the length of the spine. Deep breath out, keep the length. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Feel more and more length. Okay, next deep breath out. You're going to come up to the legs, so you're going to breathe in. Keep the legs back, and you're going to bring the hands just onto the shin bone, just here. A little bit wide. So you're going to look up towards the wall. That, and you're going to come up just the hands on the shin. Nice deep breath in. Just one here, and then coming back to the original position here. So the hands back, and you're a little bit deeper now. So hands are open to the back. You're a little bit deeper than the first time you were in here. So good. You feel like you're falling back. Good. If you feel like kind of shaking the legs or a shake in the lower body, usually pretty good. If it's totally painful, you can't hold it. Just get out of it. Okay, you're just going to cross the hands onto the chest here. Just activating the pelvis. You're just going to do this. So keep the leg structure as it is. We'll do about 8 or 10. Just keeping the length, activating the pelvis. You feel that the legs really got to work, especially the lower back, the glutes. Hopefully you feel them all have to switch on. If they start shaking, good. Use the breath. As much as you can, keep the rest of the body pretty firmly rooted. Just one more. And back up. Good. And just nice and slowly, just come out of that. We're going to go into a really tight lunge, so just like this. You can't see anything, you're not sure, just let me know, because these are pretty tricky. But again, the same thing, I want the feeling like the body's a little bit falling back, so I don't want to be in a frontal lunge like this yet. So the first one, just stretch up here. Again, nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out, keeping the length. And we're going to just lace the fingers together, stretch them up a little bit more. Nice deep breath in, and then if your left leg is forward, you're going to lean over to the left. You're going to spiral the body over, a little bit to the left. Just there. So you're going to create a kind of spiral from the back foot to the hands. The whole body is going to follow that spiral. And again, nice deep breath in. Deep breath out. Keep the length. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Coming back. There. Okay, and then just come back to the center. Just going to change the leg. So right leg forward, left leg back. It's kind of a short lunge. The key with this is the both toes are pointing forward, so it's not in a kind of Aikido handle. You can see my feet that way. So they're on parallel lines like this. So first one, just stretch the body up. Feel even a movement like this is pretty hard for the body to maintain. So what I want you to feel is like the structure is loading in the back of the body. Elongate through the spine. Okay, nice deep breath in, lace the fingers. And then as you breathe out, lean away from the back leg. Spiral the body just as much as you can. Keep the knee back, especially in the front foot. Back leg's pretty straight. Feel the whole sideline of the body open up. Breathe out. Breathe in, nice and big. And just coming back to the center, just there. Okay. And just shake the body out. So there's a ton of these exercises. You can do them for an hour or whatever, but we'll just do a few each morning because they're really good for the structural work, especially in terms of loading weight into the body, which is what we do with the walking work. So take a jog. We're going to go a bit muscle work. Good. We'll just work through again 1 to 5, and then we'll do the ones we did yesterday. We're just going to do 1, 2, 3. We'll do them in a set. So just to start from here, we'll just show them. If you're not sure about them, goes here. 1, forward, 2 over the top, and back 3 to the rear. And just do those as a little set. It's just that. 1, back. Back. 3. And back. 1, 2, 3. If you've got any questions about them, let me know. If you're kind of confused about one part, what's the hip doing or anything like this, just shout. Good.
Michael? Michael, I'm so sorry. Something's come up. I've got to go.
No, go.
I'll see you later.
See you soon. See you. Nice. So there's a really great thing that we can train here, which is this, again, it goes back to this idea of stillness. So training to be still, and actually really noticing those moments in this kind of set when you really do nothing and really make the most of them. So these kind of moments where there's no action, those really give me a chance to really recenter the body totally. The one problem, there's 2 problems with this kind of training. One is I do this. So I'm just trying to rush, I'm just trying to get through it. Just do 1, 2, 3, get it over with. I lose all the quality because I'm just training movements, not training quality. The second thing I do is I switch off between the movements. So I do something like this. This. And all those points will really, like, you'll take yourself out of the form. And I know because I do these as well. So I need to be really, really strict on myself, not really to do those kind of things, because you really miss a valuable point in the training, which is like this, coming into stillness. And then move. And then coming back to stillness. And move. So that kind of quality is really, really valuable for the training. So. And also try and train something which is also, there's also a really interesting thing about stillness motion, that the movements themselves have a different quality. So all the movements individually have a different kind of quality. But just this idea of being still, being in quite a neutral position, relaxed, grounded, that quality of feeling is totally different from this. And it's totally different from this feeling, being here, really engaged. So this feeling of being neutrally not moving, still. This feeling of being dynamic, and then this feeling of being engaged, but also still. Those are 3 different qualities of movement. So just see if you can kind of get something like that, where it's like all those movements have the same thing. So there's stillness, neutral. There's dynamic moving. And then there's this like engaged, heavy, static. And they each have a kind of different, really, really different quality. Neutral. Movement. And then really like grounded, solid. The body's totally engaged in that lesson. The body's always totally engaged, but it's going to be engaged in the quality of movement that you're doing, which is kind of. So when you be neutral, be totally neutral with the body. Engage the whole body in being neutral. When you're in movement, engage the whole body in being in movement. And when you're engaged in like striking, impacting, engage the whole body in there. This is pretty much where the training goes. So.
Michael, I have a question about number 3.
Yeah.
I'm used to move my left feet. So I'm used to being to bring the feet together to be in a better stand. But you taught us not to do this. But then it's for me it's more.
It's harder.
Difficult to move my hip. Is this because of my hip flexibility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's hip flexibility. Just think about this as where this. What the third movement's interesting. We tend to break a rule with number 3, where most of us do it, which is like I want the movement to be instant. It needs to be one thing. So because we break it into 2 parts, it becomes like 2 things, 2 movements. But in actuality, that's one move. It's just one thing. So when you do this movement, this is just a setup for that. Now, when I do that fluidly, it needs to be one thing. So that whole movement needs to be one. Now, if I'm doing something like this with a feet, then I can't really make that one movement. It's possible, but it's really damn difficult to do it. So this is a setup that later I can be able to go in position, move straight into it. But if I'm doing this, then it's always going to be 2 movements. So later making that flexible or fluid won't actually work in terms of making it one movement. I can cheat it, but it will be a cheat eventually.
Thank you for clearing this.
Yeah, hopefully that. But the interesting thing is we do that footwork all the time. I mean, I think I say this a lot, but if you think of like Ikkyo, this kind of this, just when I make a movement where I just move back, or number 2 with the body, we get that, move back. So we do that with all hasogashi. So we do that movement as a way to train the body as well. And obviously there's different ways to do it. You can bring the foot forward first and then come back. But in this case, it's to make it as simple as possible. The possibility for it to be one thing is really accessible. There we go. Got it. That's it. That's it. Great. 4 and 5 as a set as well. So starting from AIKIKAI, you now go ski, down, yaishi. And then from here, just come back into the AIKIKAI. We go to number 5, ski, jodan, gaishi, uchi. This feels as a little short set. So there's a pause in between. And again, try and find a neutral position. So this is a bit more engaged than this position, but it's still got the same kind of flavor there. It's got something kind of neutral about it. And then engage. Find that stillness here. Find the head. Oh, sorry, wrong ball. Wake up. One. Back. Find the stillness and then initiate the movement. Coming back, also with full concentration. Still. Stillness. 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 Really, really emphasizing the gaps in this case. And just notice that there are gaps in the movement. Good. There we go. Okay, how to train the gaps, or how to train those gaps or pauses in the movement. I don't ever think of those as stops. That's basically my feeling with these. If I think of them as stop, as coming to a stop, stop. It affects the way I do the movement. So really find that those movements later are going to disappear. They're going to disappear totally. But in order to train that quarter movement, you need to basically train a long time with this kind of boom, boom, boom. But it's not a pause, it's just a kind of pause along the next to the next step. But the danger in this is that I'm just thinking about the next step. But when you do the pause, really enjoy the pause. So enjoy the gap, basically, in the movement. So you go here, that. It's also another movement for us. So don't think just about how do I get to the next position. Really think just about that. So the feeling continues, but the feeling of really bring your kind of awareness to that movement. That. And where am I in this movement? Not in the next move now. That. And then from there go. And where am I now? That. And then back. So really bring it to a level where you just bring like full presence into those gaps. What's happening in those positions. And that will allow you to just travel to the next movement. Sit. So the pauses or gaps, but they're definitely not empty movements. That's for sure. They're not empty at all. There we go. Good. Super. Good, so we'll go to 6. Again, the 6 takes off where 5 left. So you just finished with this kind of Joe stride. You're going to go back. This is like number 2 with the walking. You go back, raise up into Jodan, and then from here, press forward with the body, and then bring the body back. So just like number 2 with the sword, you're going to roll back, raise the jaw from underneath, center line through the cup, and then back into come line. Yeah, just make it as easy as possible. And again, really enjoy the gaps in the movement. There. Really figure out where am I now. There you go. In. Oh, I'm loaded to the front. And as gaps allow you to make like really micro adjustments to the posture. You will make them anyway, but you can. It's better that they're made kind of consciously. And then the next time I do the Saburi, I want to kind of get more into that position. So it's a little bit like archery. I need to get to the right spot every time. I want to hit the sweet spot, boom, every time. And that's true of all the movements, not just the striking. A bit difficult with the ceiling. This movement really annoyed me for a long time, and it still does. Less so now, but really, I'll tell you, the really thing that annoyed me was I can press my weight forward, and if I'm a millimeter off my base, it will dribble the cup. So what will happen is like if I'm here, I'm a millimeter out of as I plant this. Maybe I'm on a little bit more on the outer edge of the foot. As I go to focus it, it will go like boom. It will not hit the center. So once you notice that kind of level of detail, this will annoy the hell out of you. But just get the feeling when you come in that you just boom, you can just land the foot in. You can just land right into the foot, boom, and it's the foot basically catches the center. Now, if I land the foot like that, as I apply the pressure, it goes into the body, and it won't be like if I hold my posture as I do it with rigidity, I won't feel that. But if I don't hold the posture, if I'm not holding myself up, it will do that. So you can be on the inside of the leg, you can be on the outside of the foot, you can be on the back too much, you can be on the front too much. Just feel for basically the one where I come back and then I just step in and boom. That. And I'm looking for something totally calm. And it's really about grounding, but just notice it on the foot as you come forward. And I want to have like zero wobble. I want all the energy to go boom. I want all of it to just settle down back into the ground. That's it. So it's something quite dynamic. I need to really like surge forward with the body. I also want something very calm, something really like settling. There we go. That's it, that's it, that's it. And I'll tell you, basically not how I solve this, but how I work with it, is I basically forget about the sword. So I forget about the jump, whatever it is. Comes here, and then what I want to do is just feel that you can come back, and then just go through. And just notice what happens here. I'm hung forward. So I'm hung forward in the body, and this is happening. And just notice it. So just do it. And basically what I want to avoid is throwing myself into the weapon and then trying to catch myself. And really just get a sense that you're in this position, whatever the position, that position. And then just get the sense that you land the body. That kind of feeling. So just play with it. You can do it with a cut, you can do it without it. But essentially, because we're training the body, it actually doesn't matter whether you do it with or without. The same kind of movement is happening all the time. You want to just plant the body in the ground, boom, like this. That's it. And really enjoy doing it wrong and noticing that it's like unstable. No, wrong's the wrong word. Wrong's the wrong word. Doing it unstable. Just think about your instability and enjoy your instability, because we just are unstable things. So enjoy it. Oh, there we go. There we go, Bernie. Good. Boom. 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 Good. Super. There we go. Very good. Good. We go to 7. So this involves 2 strikes. Renzoku Chikomi. You come back, strike down, and then from here bringing the back leg in, coming around with the yokomen to the side. Comes here, coming back, striking in, and then letting the jaw go circular. So you can just notice the body, notice the balance. A real sense of fullness in the movement. That's it, good. That's it. Oi, don't hit the ceiling. I need to change the job. Damn. If you find with this one, like you've got a short ceiling, what I don't want to do is really compromise my movement too much. So what I'm really aware of when I'm training indoors is I don't want to really start to adjust my form. I want to move the space around to adjust to me, pretty much. So if the sofa's in the way, I'll move the sofa. But I don't want to start this happen. The ceiling's low and I start to kind of do this kind of stuff. Or I start to change the angle and I start to make the body small. And I start to make the movement small. So if you feel that's happening, if you've got a walker or something like this, use this. If you've got a shorter stick, with this one, because what I really want to focus on in this case is something that's going to be quite open. So especially in this movement and in the second strike, something quite, there's a springiness in the vertical. So there's a vertical that goes kind of up like this. The body doesn't sink up, but I don't want to do something like that. I don't want to crouch underneath it. I want to just deliver the whole way to the body, through like this. And if I feel the ceilings get in the way, you can go to a bokken, you can go to a shorter stick. You can even go with no stick. Again, it's just about body work in the end. So don't want the movement to be cramped. That's it, Keith. Good. Good. Everything nice. Very nice. Okay, have the sense like even though these are slow movements, we're doing them quite slow in terms of if you were to do them in a real speed, in a genuine 100% speed, just get the sense still, especially on these two striking movements. This first one, I can do it in a kind of slow way, and also that. So it becomes slow for being slow, but really do like slow in a way where I want to have a feeling that I'm training it fast. So although I'm going slow, I want to feel like it's actually fast. It's almost supposed to speed it up to normal speed. It would be the same as if you were to do it fast. But if I do it in a way that's like slow, lazy, it will look lazy still. So it would be like, boom. What I want to feel like as you come here, be like, boom. So even though it's really slow, try and get a sense that it's got a kind of still this kind of explosive quality. So imagine you're still kind of coming in, boom, coming in, boom. It's got this kind of quality, even though it's slow. And this is something like, again, karate does very well. We need to have a similar kind of quality where it's like slow, heavy, but also really concentrated in terms of engaging the body. That's it. Boom. That's it. And the trick in the hard part of the training is keeping it slow, because that's where I really make the changes. Good. Great. Great. Okay, we'll move on to number 8. This is Nenuchi Genangaishi. So again, starts with this move, coming through, striking down, and then rolling the body back. We go now into the Genangaishi again. So here, there, and coming through. So nice and basic number 8, rolling back, surging forward with the strike, drawing the jaw back, coming through with the strike to the knee. And again, really enjoy the pauses as you do it. So really find gaps in the training, and those gaps will tell me a lot about my position and a lot about how I'm using my kind of intention in the move. So really feel the gaps are there, but they're not empty. Nice full training, full feeling. Good. Okay, it's a little bit like how I use those movements or the transitional movements. So try and feel that they're not empty, the transition. So if they get, I always come back to this, but like imagine the room's full of heavy substance or you're doing it in water. So feel that you're actually doing it through a substance, the movement, rather than I'm going from point A to point B. And this is really light training. So it's possible to do because we're in zero pressure, not so much pressurized there, but get the sense that, there we go. Yeah, get the sense that you're really doing it through a kind of substance. So there's something kind of heavy about it. Especially this movement. What I don't do is like A to B. Really get like this. And the same here. Really get a sense that something's pressing through. And it's about just feeling the body's actually traveling through a substance rather than going A to B to C. That's kind of boring training. It's kind of empty. Really like fill those spaces. All the space in between is full. Draw it out. I'm going to give you a really good example. Totally great again. So this is where the archery training comes in. So if you think about archery, something where I'm using tension in the body, we do the same with Aikido, but if I use archery like I got point A, point B, And if all I think about is how to get from A to B, I do something like this. So I rush all that movement because all I'm interested in is getting from this point to here. So I really need to be conscious in those movements where I'm drawing and pressurizing the body. So when I do that with the archery, it's really the feeling of that. And then I really feel like that. Kind of open and pressurize the whole system goes through like a. And this is why I like resistance bands and archery and all this kind of stuff, because I've got no choice about it. I can't do A to B. It's just not possible because I've got to go through this whole process of here. Now with the weapon, you have the same, we just don't notice it so much. So the lesson there is like, I really need to feel that this point A, point B, it's really going through space. So it's cutting through the space. We have it much more when we engage in a cut, but really this feeling like you cut through the space. Especially here, cut through the space with it. So there's a feeling of like drawing something out. That's why archery is great. I highly recommend archery for anyone. Super addictive. Good. There we go. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. And it's just about thinking about the space differently or thinking about the movement differently. It's not technically doing anything really different. Just feeling there's something else to the movement. There we go. Got it. Great. So we'll go now to 9 and 10, which we didn't cover yesterday. So these are new movements now. They involve striking and ski to the back. So they do alternating one side and then the other. So number 9 and number 10 are like a set. They work together. So the first one is from Kenkamai again. Rolling back. You're going to strike through as normal that way. And then from here, you're just going to send everything to the rear. The Shiroski. So I'll show from the other direction as well. You go back. Send the jaw in. And then from here, back. Find the ski to the rear. So this is Menuchi Ushiroski. Striking into the front and then thrusting to the rear. Goes like this. Give it a try. And again, just enjoy the pauses in it. Really make the movement static. Keep on. 1, 2, 3. Back. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Nice.
Michael, question. Your right hand as you finish the ski, should it be here in front of me? Should it be a bit further?
Think about that hand. If you think about a basic ski this way, it's basically lines up with the shoulder. Now, when I do the Shiro ski, I follow the same guideline. It just happens to the rear. So when you do this one, don't lose the jump. When you do this one, it lines up pretty much with the shoulder. So that structure is in the same relationship, whether it's to the front or whether it's to the rear. That structure works along a similar kind of relationship. Now, if I'm here, I've not really completed the ski. Even if I'm here, for me, I've got much more to go with the ski. So for me, the hand lines up with the shoulder. That's the same with like number 3. But I basically follow that same structure of the ski. The ski. All the skis are pretty much the same. They work on that same kind of structure. So yeah, that's why 1, 2, and 3 are really like fundamental because they give me the structure for later to like adapt it a little bit. But I'm basically gonna follow the same templates from the ski work in the beginning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it. Oh. Yeah. So this is a really strange movement for me, and I always ask why we do the Ushiroski, because if you think about the partner, if you know any of the partner work, we don't do any Ushiroski. There's 0 Ushiroski in the partner work, so we never do it. So I always, why do we do them? Why are they in the Saburi? What's the point? So I mean, if you look in terms of just weapon techniques, then maybe they're a bit useless in terms of the Saburi. We use them a bit later when we come to like these kind of movements. So we use the structure. And again, they're just another variation on a ski. So did to the rear and all this kind of stuff. But we don't use them in the partner work. But we use this movement all the time in bodywork. So when we do taijutsu, when we do this kind of work, or we do this kind of work with Morotodori, we use that same structure. So again, it's training the body. The purpose of the Saburi is to train the body, not to train the jaw. So some of the movements are to travel you into partner work. So it's a kind of vocabulary for partner work, but some of the movements, actually all of the movements, are designed to train the body fundamentally. So just look at this movement in terms of, as you come into this, you come here, and fundamentally, it's not about thrusting someone to the rear, that's also included, but it's fundamentally about sending energy back to the rear. So it's about sending my whole structure back without doing this. So it's a direct way to send the structure back, boom, straight back. And we do this all the time, especially in taijutsu. Just see if you can get that feeling. And this is basically where you're unlocking the bodywork away from the jaw. It's not exclusively about the jaw. That's it, Ron. Good, got it. Boom. Yeah, something heavy that goes straight back. Boom. There we go. Nice. Oh. Very nice. Good. Good, we go to number 10 to finish up. 10 is, again, it takes the system a little bit somewhere else. So 10 now starts with a different movement. So you start now in the right side, you go directly into the left, step through like this, and then I thrust to the rear. So a much more complex movement, but in essence, you're in the right side kamae, and then you go left side strike, and then I just follow it to the back, to the rear. The right side forward, left side strike, rear ski. So this is Gyakyu Yokomen, Shiroski. This is number 10. And this is the last of the striking series. Number 10.
Michael, I have to go.
Yo!
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. See you again.
Bye.
Yokomen. Asa. Good. Good. Yeah. Okay. Oh. So again, this movement's actually it's one of the most difficult saburi we've got in terms of connection work. So just watch this. There's a tendency to do this. I was going to pick it up on number 9, but it's actually harder to do here, so it's easier to see it. So when you do this, watch for doing like this, and then pushing it through. So really feel it again. This movement from here, it's the same in number 9. You strike here, and then it draws back like this. It's the same here, but really difficult. You go here, this, but the whole body does that movement with the jaw. But it's not a case of drawing through the jaw and then pushing it through the hand. So you feed it through. This hand contributes, but it's much more about boom, this kind of feeling. So again, if you think about kokyunage work, it's not that I do that and push it on the back, it's that I send the back in directly. Go, like this. So just get a sense that that movement's direct, straight to the back. And it's really, really tricky for the handwork because you're in a kind of screwed up position from the yokumen. Good. Just the last couple of minutes, just practice 9 and 10 together. So for me, they're really great. They're like a pair. You strike right side, ski to the back. You strike left side, ski to the back. So you actually can't make a mistake with these because you either strike right side, thrust back, or you strike left side, thrust back. So don't worry about what you do with this one. But if you do them in order, it goes like this. Back, number 9, back, and into position. Number 10 goes with yokumen. Left side, back. Just go through the suburu like this, 9 to 10. Again, enjoy those kind of gaps in the movement. Just the last few moments. Right. Super. Okay, good. So those are basically 1 to 10, the suburu, so with the jo. So this forms like the basic set for the jo. Because obviously, if you think we've got 7 movements with the ken, quite a simple weapon. We just got shomen, yokumen, ski. With the jo, we've got a much more complex movement. It's already pretty clear. So you've got skis, gerangaishis, hayagaishis, jorangaishi, all these kind of movements. Ski to the front, ski to the rear. So those are this is like the basic set, and then the next suburu kind of go to another level of connection work. So we're going to stick with these 10, and we're just going to start to play with them in the next few days, and maybe tonight. But we'll just play a little bit with the structure of the movements now. But those are the basics from which to go from. Domo, arigato gozaimashita.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Right. Good.
Thank you, Michael.
And if you need a guide, we have a very nice video from the